The framing was completed, so the next step was to get the sheathing up. I began by insulating a box beam along the front wall there, since that will be enclosed and I'll lose access once the sheathing goes up. Next I started with the heavier 3/4 inch plywood on the front and aft ends of the house. That'll provide extra shear strength when compared with a 1/2 inch ply for the rest of the house. The process was just to measure the framing and compare it with the SketchUp model, and then cut each piece of sheathing to fit. Ran a small bead of construction adhesive on the studs, clamped the sheathing in place, and then used a kicker board to hold the bottom up since I was working by myself. Then snap a chalk line on the stud centers so you know where to place the fasteners. 2-inch epoxy coated exterior screws were used every 6 inches on center on each edge and every 12 inches in the field for the sheathing. That part took a lot more time than expected. I went through 25 pounds of those things. Each 4x8 area took almost an hour to fit and screw in place, working by myself. The dormer end transition pieces were the most difficult. Even though they were small, they had a lot of angles and notches, and I had to trim them a few times to get it to fit right. I made a template out of cardboard a minute ago there to match the wheel wells up, and then just traced it over the plywood for those areas. Cut it out with a jigsaw. A minute ago there you saw doing some final hurricane ties. For this video there's actually about 16 hours of that throughout the house. Long flat walls there were nice and simple to cut, but they do take a lot of screws. And it's nice to have that floor done to work on the upper areas in the loft there. Here I'm cutting out access to the utility shed area in preparation for framing that up, building the last small pieces of framing and setting them in place. This area will be used to hold the water heater, expansion tank, pumps, valves, and other utility type items so they don't take up space in the house or under the counters. Most of that part will be inside the insulation barrier, but there will be some outside and vented, of course, for propane storage. So with the exception of the roof, the house is all sheathed up. You can see this and other MicroMansion videos on YouTube, or check out more photos on the blog page and the address shown in the bottom corner. Thanks.